Breaking: panic inside Washington as FBI power shift and Hunter Biden. Pardon ignite explosive accusations. Washington is suddenly in chaos, and the timing could not be more suspicious. FBI Director Christopher Wray is stepping down just as the balance of power begins to shift, triggering alarm bells across Capitol Hill and exposing what critics say is a dangerous scramble to control America's most powerful law enforcement agency. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett didn't hold back, warning that what's unfolding behind closed doors isn't about public safety. It's about loyalty, power, and survival. At the center of the storm, explosive accusations that Trump's reported FBI pick lacks the experience to lead and may serve political interests instead of the Constitution itself. And as Democrats quietly grapple with electoral defeat and internal fractures, an even more controversial decision has detonated public trust: the presidential pardon of Hunter Biden. Crockett is now stepping forward, accusing prosecutors of targeting the president's son in ways she says she has never seen before, raising chilling questions about whether justice itself has been weaponized. What is Washington so afraid of right now, and what do they know that the public doesn't? In the next clip, Jasmine Crockett reveals the shocking truth they never expected to say out loud. Like this video and subscribe to the channel right now, because the details you're about to hear change everything.
And welcome back. Reaction continues to pour in from Capitol Hill to the news that FBI Director Christopher Wray will step down at the end of the Biden administration. Just moments ago, I spoke to Texas Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, a member of the House Oversight Committee, and I asked her for her take on Wray's decision.
Yeah, I mean, that's not probably for the best interest of the people in this country. But hopefully the Senate is going to do their part as it relates to all of these appointees that Trump is trying to push forward with. We know that, he's tried to get some very interesting people, to say the least. And if we're going to say the most, we're going to say very unqualified people, or people that don't understand that their allegiance should always be to the U.S. Constitution and not to the orange one that is going to swear into the presidency in January. So not really happy about that, but I can absolutely understand if someone does not want to work in this particular incoming administration.
Congresswoman, of course, President-elect Trump has tapped Kash Patel to lead the FBI. Democrats broadly are not happy with that pick. But is there anything you can really do about it? I mean, ultimately, obviously, confirmation is going to happen in the Senate.
Yeah, as far as a member of the House, no. I am just kind of a sitting duck over here. But again, hopefully, when it comes down to it, the Senate will really honor what their obligation is. We have a confirmation process for a reason, right? It is not to be a rubber stamp. And so if they feel as if this guy is unqualified, which I think the vast majority of us, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, should have some very serious concerns about his candidacy, not just because he literally lacks any type of resume that has anything to do with law enforcement on this level, but also just because of some of the views that he's espoused, and because he literally has decided that basically he just wants to serve Donald Trump. And when you are in these positions, again, it is not service to the president that is ultimate. The only thing that the president should be doing is putting forth people that they really believe can do the service. And it's really unfortunate because, as you know, Christopher Wray was also a Donald Trump appointee. It says a lot that he does not want to work under Donald Trump and that Donald Trump doesn't want him, kind of like his old vice presidential running mate who, obviously we still, at least on the Democratic side, talk about the fact that he wanted to hang him, or at least there was a mob that wanted to hang him.
Let me shift gears here a little bit. You're on the House Oversight Committee. Obviously, this is going to be a key position in these next 4 years. There's a race right now between Jerry Connolly and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Have you determined who you'll support in that race?
I have not. It's interesting because we had a couple of candidate forums today. It's really tough for me as a member of the Oversight Committee because I can be perfectly honest with you and tell you that we are probably one of the closest committees in the House. We've had to be that way. We've had to stick together and deal with some really interesting issues, whether we're talking about Hunter Biden's nude photos or if we're talking about the serious allegations that were alleged when they were trying to impeach the President of the United States or trying to incarcerate the Attorney General of the United States. And so I absolutely feel as if my oversight committee is my committee of family. And I honestly think that we are all leaders in our own right. And I honestly don't think that we can go wrong with either one of these picks. So it really is difficult for me. This is going to be a last minute play for me when I ultimately cast my vote. But for those that are watching, just so you know, our Steering and Policy Committee is going to make a recommendation. And I am curious to see what the recommendation is from Steering and Policy, specifically on this committee.
Let me ask you broadly about this moment for Democrats, obviously picking up the pieces after you lost this past election. Why do you think Democrats lost, and what do you think needs to happen by the midterms and the next presidential election in order to find your footing again?
Well, Kristen, no disrespect to you. I think you do great work. But the reality is that those that tune in to traditional news sources, they absolutely went for us. And we know that the standards that you have to live by as an actual journalist are completely different from other platforms. And so we know that we were winning for those that were tuning into the traditional news sources. But when it came down to people getting their news from places that really aren't even news sources, they were going for Donald Trump by 19 points. And that is exactly why we lost. The reality is that we're going to have to play in spaces that we've never had to play and make sure that we're communicating in all ways. Unfortunately, we can't just rely on the mainstream media to get our message across. The reality is that when we look at our policies are solid and strong. We know that every time there was a ballot measure across the country, for the most part, we were winning on our policies. But what we failed to do is communicate in real time, number one, the lies that were coming before the American people, and number two, the accomplishments in which we were making with this administration. It's going to be important that we communicate at all times, and we don't wait until election time to start to tell everyone everything that we've done, because it's almost impossible to get our message across.
Congresswoman, we are almost out of time, but I have to ask you about President Biden's decision to pardon his son. You have been supportive of this decision. He did write in his statement, "I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process and it led to a miscarriage of justice." This is at a time when the Department of Justice has been under attack. Do you think that undercuts the broader public's faith in the Justice Department?
I don't think it does. I mean, it's been made clear over and over that this was a Trump appointee that decided to do this prosecution. We know that we heard from former Attorney General Eric Holder when he laid out that this is not the type of case that would normally be prosecuted. And one of the reasons that I could stand strongly with the president in his decision, not that it really mattered because there's nothing that any of us can do about it at this point in time, is because I have practiced criminal defense not only on the state level but on the federal level. And I can tell you that I've never seen prosecutions like this. As someone who also serves on the Oversight Committee, I can tell you for sure that I have never seen anyone so hell-bent on going after someone's child. The only reason that Hunter Biden ever faced these charges was simply because his last name was Biden. And it's really unfortunate. Now, here is the reality. Do I believe that the president still believes in the system? I do. Because at the end of the day, the jury was given the facts, they were given the law, and yes, there was a violation of the law. But when it comes to practice, in practice, we don't normally treat people this way on these type of cases.
All right. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, thank you so much for your time on a very busy day. We really appreciate your perspective.
And let's be absolutely clear about what you just witnessed. This wasn't normal politics. This was a flashing red warning sign that something deeper is broken inside the system. When a sitting member of Congress says she has never seen prosecutions like this, when the FBI leadership is suddenly turning over at one of the most politically sensitive moments in modern history, and when questions of loyalty to the Constitution or to a single political figure are being whispered in the halls of power, that is not stability, that is panic, that is fear. And the people responsible want you distracted, divided, and silent while they reshape institutions behind closed doors. Because once control over federal law enforcement shifts, once accountability disappears, the public is the last to know and the first to suffer the consequences. This is exactly why voices like this matter and exactly why videos like this are being watched so closely. The truth makes powerful people uncomfortable, and uncomfortable people make desperate decisions. So if you believe the American people deserve transparency instead of secrecy, facts instead of spin, and accountability instead of political protection, you need to act right now. Don't just watch and move on like this video to push it into the algorithm so more people see what's really happening. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next breakdown, because the next revelation could drop at any moment. And most importantly, share this video, because the more people who see it, the harder it becomes for anyone to hide from the truth.